you can process and grieve what hasn't happened. But the thing that the Lord was like impressing on me is that, okay, cool, like we can process that, but you have to realize that you still are the steward of your life.
I think for me, what I'm getting is that it feels like it's just a continuous cycle of navigation. And if you're not doing it correctly, you'll keep going in a circle. You'll keep looking at the same lamppost. But you see, the difference now is that I'm sure in other years you saw the same lamppost and you said,
yes,
it's fine, I'm going on the mountain, and I'll come back. But this time you came and said, I'm tired of this lamppost.
Yeah,
because you really have to be intentional with a lot of things.
Yes,
you really can't just pray and hope that everything works out. You really have to put intention behind those things that you're doing and take risks. Okay, take risks.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to do that.
And they can be two things that happen. Either you just say, okay, it's my life, you leave God out of it, and you're like, I'm running, I'm doing, it's me, we're achieving, we're doing that. Or you can, kind of be very heavy on the, okay, God, like you just lead this thing and you just want to be a passenger, not even the passenger, at the back. You're just like...
We can mourn, but not mourn the way we're supposed to. Like, it's, you need to be able to come to terms with the fact that this thing is gone, but also move on.
Yes.
So,
More than just when I'm doing it by myself. So I would say 100% like figure out what help, or maybe even if you haven't figured out, just find help somewhere. I'm like, maybe I'm not going to be in with this therapist for, maybe I need more of a coach than a therapist, but either way I'm starting somewhere. I'm trying and I'm seeing, okay, what makes the most sense for where I am and what I need. So that would be my advice.
That means you need to be what, friends? Vulnerable.
Oh, yes.
Hello friends, welcome to Seed Time and Harvest, a podcast where we're learning to live on purpose and thrive in every season together. We're here again, guys.
Yes.
You guys didn't comment about when you set up. Do you understand? It was quiet there by the comments. I was waiting.
I think people were just gripped by the fear episode.
That's actually so bad. I didn't even have time.
I don't have
care about the surroundings, dog. I'm stressed.
I don't care about your setup. I don't care about your new whatever. Crazy. Like, this word has just
taken them.
Yeah.
Ironically, after that episode, I haven't done presentations at work in a while. After the episode that week, my boss said, baby, we're going back. And I said, okay. So even me, I was made a example of. Yes. But how was your week, Trumps?
It was good. Sorry, just on that, I was going to say it was the cutest thing. Earlier this week at church, one of the older gentlemen in church, and he's like 60 plus. Like, he comes, he's like, wow, guys, that one was for me.
He said, you think he said fear? I said, what?
Yeah. So I was like, people were just gripped by that episode. But we always just like love really seeing the impact that it's having, and just seeing the feedback, just from people being like, the handles that you guys gave, or just the discussion really showed me something or whatever. There was actually a comment that we got from somebody, and they said, how ironic that I'm listening to this while I'm driving, and I've had a fear of driving.
I saw that comment. That was so good. Guys, we really love feedback. It really does warm our hearts. I know we might look confused or scared when you come and tell us, but please know in our hearts we're like,
yes.
Yeah, but it was good.
Yeah, the Lord is
It's cooking, Tremi.
Yeah.
We're just trying to be obedient.
We're just trying to be obedient.
And show up.
Yeah. But anyway, you asked me.
How was your week?
This week, I was just giving her a rundown about it before we started, and I was just like...
It was a strong rundown.
It was a strong rundown of the week. So I've had to this week use those declarations and just be like, sound mind. I've got a sound mind. I don't live in fear. So it's been an interesting week, I think, just emotionally and mentally, and the stuff that we speak about, it's not like we're immune from navigating this stuff. So it was a week, I think, where I've had to like navigate some emotional and like mental stuff. But other than that, I think it was good. It
was a good week.
It was a lot of processing, but good.
All right.
All right. And you?
All right. Busy, man. I was talking to my colleague yesterday, and we were talking about how busy the week is. Then she chuckled, and she's like, the thing is that this feels like the beginning. Like, it feels like it's going to go on another level. And I said, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So it's just me trying to like understand my life and like, fit things where they need to and all that stuff. But, I mean, we're here. Yeah. The point is to get up and
the point is, 100%. Just show up.
Exactly. Show up and do your best. Your best won't always look the same. Yeah. And I've come to terms with that, and I'm like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. But we're here. We're excited.
Yeah.
And in fact, we're talking about processing today's topic. I'm very excited about it. Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us about it. So it seems recently celebrated her birthday.
Yes, I recently celebrated my birthday. I don't know when this episode will come out. Probably sometime in May. Yes, according to our calendar, sometime in May. So I'm a May baby. Celebrated my birthday last week.
Yeah. Last week?
Yes, actually, funny enough, this was a birthday gift. This mug that I'm drinking.
The person who bought it is like, yes.
And the person who bought it for me said, I don't want to see you drinking out of your other mug on the podcast. I said, oh.
It's a new mug in town.
He said, there's a new mug in town. So this was a gift from a friend. Very cute.
Yeah.
But yes, I did celebrate my birthday really recently, last week actually. Yeah. Feels like a while ago.
Bro, that's why I was like, what's it?
But anyway, so I was sharing with Musa that the thing that I've been thinking about or just processing from my birthday, well, when this birthday hit, the month before that, which was April, I remember I was just going through a lot of like mental and emotional anguish. And I was realizing that like part of it was connected to my birthday, because every time that a birthday rolls around, I'm a processor. I want to be thinking about, okay, how is the past year gone? Where are we? What are we doing? And I think also this particular birthday felt like a milestone one, where it was like, I won't tell you how old I am.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't ask. How old is it?
Yeah, I won't tell you how old I am, but it just felt like a very definitive marker of time, where it's like, okay, in the next 5 years, like, you know, I need to be thinking that direction. I can't just be thinking 1 year ago or like this month. And so I think I was really almost having a bit of a wake-up call this birthday, and I was realizing that I was not feeling like I am where I want to be at this stage of my life. So I was having to process that. And I think in that April month, I was really having, you know, to battle like anxiety and like all of that stuff around what have I done with my life? Like, where am I? Like, what decisions have I made? Like, basically, how did I get here?
So this is even before the birthday has even come?
Yes. This is even before the birthday has even come. And so I think coming into actually stepping into May, thank goodness I went on a fast at the beginning of May, because that saved my soul. Because what happened in the fast was that, so my birthday was on May the 11th. And so the 1st to the 10th of May, I was fasting. And I think it was so strategic and just such a gift from the Holy Spirit, because in those 10 days, I was able, to process all that stuff around like feeling, I think, disappointment, like looking back at past seasons, being like, wait, how did I get here? Wait, what's the vision for my life? Wait, what's like, where am I going? But what I found in those like 10 days of fasting was that God began to also give me a fresh sense of hope. And that's also kind of what I wanted to talk about, around the idea that you can process and grieve what hasn't happened. But the thing that the Lord was like impressing on me is that, okay, cool, like we can process that, but you have to realize that you still are the steward of your life. And so you have to now figure out like, how are you moving forward from where you are? And as I'm saying, I was thinking about the next 5-10 years and feeling very much just like I need to think in the big picture, because I don't want to get to next year and be like, oh my gosh, I haven't I'm still here. Or even get to 5 years from now and be like, wait, what did I do with the last 5 years? So I think that's really what I've been processing like around my birthday, and just the feeling of grieving some things, but also, wait, I still have to steward the life that I do have, and I have the responsibility of moving it forward.
Yeah. So would you say that you only navigate like this and maybe reflect when your birthday is coming up, or do you do this on like during the year?
That's a good question. I think I don't do it as intently during the year. So I think it does often feel like at a milestone, like a birthday, I will always like reflect. Definitely my birthday is like guaranteed. I think also at the start and end of the year I do, but I think it feels weightier for me on my birthday.
I mean, because it's different. Something has changed. I mean, in the beginning and end of the year is changing, but a new year to your life is kind of like, whoa. Because also you get people ask you those questions like, and how old are you turning? Then they start asking, but you're not doing this, you're not doing that. I mean, I think I've said it here before, but child, whenever my dad can hear I'm a new age and I'm not holding a child, he's saying, okay, here she is. Here she is again. Not using herself the way she's supposed to.
Hasn't given me any grandbabies.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think it not only evokes something out of you, but even the people around you. And it's not necessarily from a bad place, but sometimes I think it just, gets us to that point where we're thinking and trying to navigate, hey, what's going on here? Yeah. So through that navigation, obviously it sounds like you were disappointed. It's not like you were saying, yay! How did you... Maybe let me ask, are you past it, or is it something you're still navigating? Something you think the birthday comes, you're like, woo, then you get over it. But the year is now increased, now you're really living in it. So how are you feeling now?
That's a good question. I think now I'm definitely feeling like, okay, what has happened, or what hasn't happened.
Okay.
And I think for me, the thing that I actually have to say, I think the thing that I'm proud of myself for is actually engaging with like the process. Because I found that like what I sometimes can do is that when the birthday rolls around and like, I'm thinking, okay, what did I want to do last year? Or like, where's my life headed? Or just what am I doing? In the moment, I can feel the alostro, and then quickly just want to like cover it up and just be like, okay, all right, let's just move along, whereas like this time around, and I think as I am saying, I do feel the weight of responsibility of, you're the one stewarding your life. And so if you
There's no one else.
Yeah, there's literally, and I think for me, I realized that like that has scared me in years past. Like the idea that like I am the steward of my life. Like you are the one that is obviously partnering with God, but you are the one who is setting direction for your life, vision for your life. You're the one that's making decisions for your life. That has actually scared me. And I think I haven't actually come to like really face that before in the past. And so this time around, I've actually had to like sit with it and be like, I'm not going to deflect and avoid it. I actually have to face it head on.
Wait, pin it there.
Okay.
So before this, it's not like, so every year you're reflecting.
Yes.
Your birthday's coming up, you're like, oh, okay. Maybe you picked up some things you didn't like. Are you saying in those years you said, it's okay, we'll get back, we'll revert.
Yeah.
But this year you said, no, we can't revert. Let's deal with it now.
Yeah, 100%. And again, this is what we're saying, that we also deal with the fear things. And I did mention it in the last episode.
Really touching on fear.
100%. That for me, there's been a lot of fear has shown up, as I shared in the last episode, through the overthinking, like I'm still praying about it, like that kind of thing. So I think that's where I've deflected things to a lot, when I'm like, hey, it's on me to decide, like, it's on me to have the vision for my life. Then it just almost paralyzes me. And then I'm like, okay, I need to just pray and seek God. And then I'm praying and seeking God for
the rest of the year. You're like, no, let's continue to seek God.
Let's just seek the
Lord.
Lord.
That's right. Yeah, Moses says, I'm going on the mountain.
I'm going on the mountain. I'll see you guys in 365 days.
Exactly.
So I think that's where I have like, gone to, and without, I think almost unknowingly even use that as a bit of a crutch.
Exactly.
And this time around, I realized, wait, I've been here before, and I was even sharing with you before the episode started that I was looking at my journals even from a year ago, and some of the stuff that I was processing in the lead up to this birthday, I was processing in the lead up to my last birthday. And so when I saw that, I was like, okay, you've got to actually like deal with this head on. You can't deflect or run away. And you've actually got to go head on into it, and the only way out is through. And so I think that's where the mindset shift. So even now, I was like, okay, what do I need to do? I was like, I need to go back and see a therapist. Like, I need to like see if I can get a life coach. Just stuff that I'm like, okay, what do I need to do to actually move me forward in a way that is healthy? Because I was like, I do not want to get to another year and be like, we're still processing things that I should have dealt with a year ago.
You know what? I'm like, I don't know where to start. You know what? Actually, I need to stop reacting like this. These guys keep threatening to make a video of me and my reaction, so maybe I must try and be a calm person. But you know what? I keep thinking about a navigation system. Like, so just like if someone says, I'm sending you a location so you can get here, and if you're following the location, you know how you can follow location and you basically go around in circles.
Yes.
And you keep saying, this is the third time I'm seeing this lamppost job. Why am I seeing it again? Clearly I'm lost. That's what it feels like. It feels like a navigation system. Like you are saying, okay, let me take a right or a left, or let me circle back, or all of that stuff. And it feels like a continuous cycle of circling back. Like navigating in general is like that. I mean, in life, but I think for me, it feels like, especially in our like 20s and 30s. I mean, now being in my 30s now, thinking about the things I thought about in my 20s, now I'm like, things are different, you know? So I think for me, what I'm getting is that it feels like it's just a continuous cycle of navigation. And if you're not doing it correctly, you'll keep going in a circle. You'll keep looking at the same lamppost. But you see, the difference now is that I'm sure in other years you saw the same lamppost and you said, it's fine, I'm going on the mountain, and I'll come back. But this time you came and said, I'm tired of this lamppost. I need another lamppost. So now it's pushing past that thing that's stopping you. Whether it's fear, whatever it is, because now all of these other things start to seep, and that's when the enemy comes in, things like comparison. The biggest thing I'm feeling is comparison. I think, and I mean, it's a normal thing. We're doing life with others, so it is normal for us to look at what other people are doing and saying, hey, okay, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But that's the thing that's stopping you from either going in a cycle or even stopping. You can even stop the navigation and say, you'll find me here. I know people who literally say, like, if you say, hey, you know what, dog, I think maybe this is what you're doing and this is what you're going through, whatever, and they say, I'm aware of that. I'm completely fine with it. In fact, it's safer to stay here because I'm not going to keep trying, because what happens if I fail?
Shoot.
I think I said it to you when we were talking about during the week, because she was telling me about this topic, and I said, I heard in... was it I don't know what it was, but this person, I think these two people were on a date, and he asked her, what is she scared of, or something like that, and she said failing. And then he said, are you scared of failing, or are you scared of people watching you fail? Because if you are on an island by yourself and you failed, then nobody gonna say anything. It's just you and you. But if people watch you fail, because they're gonna, most times you're gonna have an opinion or comment towards that. It like the failure seeps in a bit more. So imagine you feeling, already you team are feeling like, this is what I want for myself and all of these things. But like I said, now you have family saying, you're not married yet. It's just you. Or, oh, this is the job that you're doing. Then it starts to kind of get a little bit deeper. So does it feel like those comments make it worse? Or is it really just like your own weight and your own expectations for yourself that is really the way down on you?
That is a good question. I think just a side note, and just how parents are so funny. On the morning of my birthday, I was speaking to my mom, and she's like, wow.
Once they start saying wow,
when they just start saying wow, and then she goes, so what's your plan?
Oh, come on, I just arrived.
Literally, she was like, so what's your plan, because you are getting there. And I'm like, getting where?
Where am I getting to, my queen?
She literally just said that, like that's all she said. And I'm like, I just arrived. Like I just got here. But the thing that I've had to confront more than the expectations maybe, or pressures from other people, and not to say that I don't have not to say that I don't have to navigate, feeling the pressures of like, okay, what are other people doing, and all of that stuff. I think for me, the thing that I've had to confront more is, and I think this is actually what has been happening. This has been what has been like harder to confront. The thing I've had to confront is actually that where you are right now, if you don't like it, you also have to look at what decisions have you made that have gotten you here. And so I think it almost takes because I think it's easy to be like, okay, no, this person, like, this is giving me a low straw, But I think a lot of what, has happened this time is I've had to just look at me. And that's hard, because you actually have to face, as I'm saying, what decisions have I made? Have I had vision for my life? What's been my vision? Have I just been going around being like, okay, we'll just see, just very like merry-go-round, like, okay, and I was even saying, the thing that also sobered me up was that I realized that, like, I feel like I woke up, 5 years ago, and I was like, okay, and then a jumble happened, and then now I'm here, and I'm like, I don't feel like I remember. Yeah, literally, I'm like, wait, what happened in between those years? And so that also is making me be like, wait, have I been living with intention?
Wow.
Have I been living with vision? Have I been living with clarity and direction?
That's good.
And I think that is what I'm more like leaning into, because I'm like, if I'm living with that, then yes, there'll be expectations or pressures or whatever, but I always have a North Star to be like, okay, I'm partnering with God in the direction and vision for my life, and this is what it is.
Wow.
And I think also a thing that, and I don't know if maybe I haven't processed this enough, but I feel like, again, a thing that I've been hit with is that there can be a level of almost like, I don't want to say spiritual bypassing, but almost just like, okay, I just trust the Lord's will, like he'll do what he wants. But that then means that I am like almost taking the stewardship of my life again away from me, because I'm just like, okay, we'll just see what the Lord does. And it's like, life will happen, things will happen, and you will just kind of roll in whatever direction things are rolling in, because you're almost, again, deflecting like responsibility for the stewardship of your life to, okay, we'll just see what God does. And I'm not saying that we don't like, surrender our lives to the Lord and we don't submit our plans to God. But there's a difference between I have no plan and vision and I'm just, I'm just vibing and hoping for the best. I'm just vibing and hoping for the best. Because what then happens is you get to a point where you're even disappointed in God because you're like, God, but I trusted you.
Since I told you I trust you, dog.
I surrendered to you, but now we're not in a place that I want to be. And he's like, you didn't even like partner with me in the direction and vision for your life. And I'm like,
okay.
Anyway, so this is really
it's a tug of war.
This is the stuff that like I'm navigating now.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's like a balancing act where you have to say trusting, believing, Lord, but also what am I doing?
Yes.
Am I sitting here? I think the thing that you touched on that spoke to me was intentionality. I think I really lean on that word more the older that I get, because you really have to be intentional with a lot of things.
Yes.
You really can't just pray and hope that everything works out. You really have to put intention behind those things that you're doing. And take risks. Okay. Take risks.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do that. Because also it feels like, kind of like we were speaking about in fear, this feels like a fear part 2.
Yeah, it was not meant to be that at all.
It really was not, but she's really giving fear part 2. But like, going past your comfort zone and the what ifs and the what happens if it doesn't, and just going for it and trying your best. So even as you get older and stuff, things like dating, I always ask people, do you know what you'd ask on a date? You wouldn't, because we've not been in a long time, because you're busy going wow that you actually don't know. Once you get there, you might start manifesting and like saying weird stuff, and this whole time you've been feeling like everyone's the problem, then you realize you're the problem, And of course, I'm bringing my best friend Joyce back because Joyce, my queen. Don't ask me why I'm still reading this book, guys. Please.
It's okay. We love that. It means you're digesting.
Thank gosh.
You're not just consuming the book.
Someone at work was like, "Girl, are you still reading the book?" I said, "Hold on." But we're still reading on the wilderness mentalities, and the one I'm reading now is "Nothing is my fault. It's all everyone's fault." It's nothing to do with me. You're the problem, you're the problem, you're the problem, you're the problem. So she's really talking a lot about pride and how we always displace the blame and give it to someone else because we just don't want to take it. We are going through a hard time, life is hard, we're doing our best, and but we never actually want to say, but what did I do though? Like, how was I moving? How was I working? It's just like how we can go and complain at work and whatever and say, oh, my. But meanwhile, you are always sending things late. You are the mean one at work. Like, there's some people, and I think I spoke about it, I don't know if I in the fear episode or what, but like, it's just one of my deepest fears is to feel like you're this person. And if people were to be, like, I heard a story, like, this person, at work is just like, they're not the best person. They are just the guy everyone avoids because they're like, you're mean, you're always shouting all this stuff. And those same people at work found out that this person is a regular churchgoer. Like they are integrated into the church system, and they said, you are lying. That is not possible. That person, it's not a thing. So it's that thing of just feeling like, I'm doing my best and I'm showing up and I don't want to do all of this stuff. And like you're saying, it sounds like one of the biggest fears and truths that you had to come to terms with is looking in the mirror. I always tell people, life it's you v you. Stop looking around. It's you and you. And this is the thing that we try and avoid. We don't want to look in the mirror and say, actually, I fumbled. I fumbled the bag. I did a bad thing here. It's the enemy again to keep us there. He wants us to stay there. He wants us to, look in the mirror, be aware and detect the problem, and then stay there and be like, you are the problem.
100%.
You suck. You're all these things. Now you can't move on because now you're just kind of like, now you start sinking. Or you just kind of say, let me just be the villain. But whatever the case is, the point is that he doesn't want you to now bypass and move on and say, you know what? Yes, cool. These are the things that are existing, but how am I going to fix it? How am I going to go forward?
Yeah. And I think that is so key to identify that. And even what I was saying of, like part of processing is like recognizing, disappointments or griefs or maybe things you wish would have turned out differently. All of those things, we are all going to process those things, whether it is brought about by a milestone like a birthday, or, any other thing that brings you to a place of processing your life. But the thing, as you are saying, that the enemy wants you to remain stuck in there. So either you just continue blaming everyone, blaming, oh, this happened, that happened, or actually like, you just kind of resign yourself to, well, I guess this is it, and you just get stuck there. And I think what I am, what I'm learning and what I am having to step into, as I said even at the beginning of this episode, that God is actually teaching me about like me as a steward of my life. Because I think we often speak about stewarding your time, stewarding your finances, stewarding opportunities. We think about, anyway, I've thought about stewardship a lot in those terms, but I think coming face to face with, wait, like, I'm the steward of my life. Like, my life is a gift as well. Because I think if we don't recognize that we have been given the gift of life, that means that like God has entrusted your life as it is to you, and so He is actually inviting you to partner with Him to steward your life. And they can be two things that happen. Either you just say, okay, it's my life, you leave God out of it, and you're like, I'm running, I'm doing, it's me, we're achieving, we're doing that. Or you can, kind of be very heavy on the, okay, God, like, you just lead this thing, and you just want to be a passenger, not even in the passenger, at the back. You're just like,
you're in an in-drive.
Yeah, in the in-drive, you know what I mean? And I think I realized that I've probably like been scared to really take the, okay, God, you and I are partners in this thing. Let's move. And I think, and the thing that I'm grateful for is actually that the recognition that like, wait, you're a steward has actually given me hope, because you can feel despair around big milestones or birthdays or, crossroad moments or whatever. And you can just start to just be like, oh my God. Yeah, But I think the thing that I'm realizing is that like the switch of, okay, there's hope.
That's good.
And it's like I recognize what hasn't happened or what I've wanted or what I haven't done, but it's like, how do we shift into hope,
And I think another thing as well is just like making sure that all of these things that maybe haven't gone right, or maybe all of these shortcomings and shortfalls that you do have, because you do, like these people who, I hear people that go on dates and they ask what red flags do you have, and they said, I don't have any. That's a red flag.
The
fact that you don't know that you have weaknesses is crazy, because we all do. So don't do that. If you hear that, guys, run. But making sure that you don't attach that to your identity, because now you feel like you are a failure. You're not failing, you are the failure. You are the problem. You are all of these things. So it's also just trying to figure out, who am I? Like, because not even a lot of us, all of us are asking the question of like, who am I? What am I doing here? Am I wasting time? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? So just trying to figure out like who you are. And if we have the base point, which what we know is that we are made in the image of Christ, then you think, okay, if I'm made in this person's image, who is He? Start there. Go and figure out that stuff. But like, so now that you went through this, what's ironic? My birthday is coming up, and I literally have been thinking this whole week. I've been going, folks, it's coming up.
Another year. Clement is going to be like,
if you can catch me. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm literally up. And I literally been telling Timo and that this year I'm planning baby showers, I'm planning weddings, I'm planning, and he's gonna say, okay, that's nice. Planner of the year. I don't want to think about it, because I may even have to see my therapist. I think it's next week. So let me quickly check on him before I bring in this year, because whoa. But also it's also that like you're saying, that it's that weight of me feeling like, wow, the Lord has blessed me with like another year that's coming up, which means that I'm still doing something. He still has a purpose for me here as well. So for you, it's great that you did it first, so now you can give me tips.
I'm low-key like, Mose's going to listen to this and be like, oh, thank you literally for charting the path of how helping me to navigate.
But like, so now that you are, probably still navigating, and like we said, you don't just wake up after and be like, all right, bed. What if someone's listening and saying, hey, it's me. It's not my birthday, but I'm spiraling. I'm crashing out. What steps can they take through this navigation season, through this stewardship, through all these things that we've spoken about?
I think you almost have to realize that if you are in, like, how you were given the analogy of the navigation of, sometimes you get into a car and you're like, okay, I'm cool. I've got the Google Maps, and you punch that thing in and you're driving because you're like, me and the map are good.
We're together.
But you're somehow rerouting because you keep
rerouting.
Because you realize you keep missing a turn or whatever, and you're just trying to figure it out on your own. And often what you'll do is you'll pick up the phone and say to a friend, Tala,
I'm lost.
Yes, I am lost.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I see a lamppost that it says, Hope Street or whatever street you're on.
Good.
Like, where do I go from here? And so for me, what I have recognized is, okay, I've been here before in a, not exactly here, but what I was realizing was like, this feels familiar. And I was like, because I have not been able to steer myself out of it, I need to figure out what help I need to be able to navigate and move forward. So just like how somebody would call that friend and be like, where are we going? Where's this thing? I've been here for the last half an hour. I can't find where I need to go. Please help me. And that friend who will likely direct you and will say, Tala, okay, where are you now? Tell me your bearings. All right, what do you see now? All right, let's take a U-turn and let's start here. And then it helps you. So for me, like I said, I was like, all right, I think I maybe need to see a therapist. And so I just remember one day just like calling my old therapist and just being like, can I book an appointment?
I'm coming
back, because I was just like, I just need a space to be able to process. Because I'm also an external processor, I know that often I need to speak through things and be able to figure out, okay, what am I thinking? And have somebody even ask me questions and figure out what are the fears around here, what are the things that you've actually been avoiding and actually deal with that. So I would say figure out what help you need and get it, because often we remain in that same space because we haven't asked for help. So maybe it's, a friend who has gone through that and you see, okay, the way they're charting their life, that person looks like they've got some things that I could benefit from. Let me call them. Or if it's, I need a life coach. Even this week I had a call with a life coach.
Guys, Simba believes in a life coach. I need you to know, before I met her, I never hear about these life coaches. I said, what is that?
I really do. I really,
yes.
Yeah, a session with one. And I was like, wow, this is the kind of stuff that I actually need, because it's helping me think through things in a way that is helpful than just when I'm doing it by myself. So I would say 100% figure out what help, or maybe even if you haven't figured it out, just find help somewhere. I'm maybe I'm not going to be in with this therapist for maybe I need more of a coach than a therapist, but either way I'm starting somewhere. I'm trying and I'm seeing, okay, what makes the most sense for where I am and what I need. So yeah, that would be my advice.
That means we need to be what, friends? Vulnerable.
Oh yes.
I know we don't like it. We feel like we're naked and we need to hide. It's not gonna help you.
Yeah.
You need to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because you can also go to therapy. Like my therapist always tells me, since you are paying me, you want me to provide you a service, but I can't force you to do anything you don't want to do. You can come here for an hour and talk to me about how your dogs like this dog food instead of this one.
Yeah.
And if I ask you questions and you're trying to avoid it, there's this series I was watching, this guy started sleepwalking. Literally, his girlfriend would wake up and he's not in the bed and find him in a park 2 kilometers away, and she's like, and it happened for a while. So eventually, he had to be put in. I don't think it's a mental institution, but basically in a place where they can help him, because they're like, you're actually a danger to yourself. You actually, and it was a thing at night which ended up corresponding during the day.
Yeah.
Where he can literally be sitting like this. You see how we're sitting, and the next thing he blacks out and he says, I don't remember a thing. I just wake up somewhere else and I'm like, what the heck is happening here?
Yeah.
So they put him in, his girlfriend obviously, talked to him, and he didn't want to do it, but he was like, I bet I'll go to the place you want me to go to or whatever. And the therapist, so he thought it was obviously this physical thing, maybe a brain thing that's broken. And the therapist actually said it's mental. So it's actually, you have it in the same way, in the sense that it is in the brain, the mental state, but it's not the physical, it's the mental. Basically, they said there's a trauma that's trapping you there.
Sure.
And whenever you are triggered, you go there.
Yeah.
So he says basically the more you've been living your life, it's this thing that you've pushed down is now starting to come up and saying, baby, we need to figure it out. You know what the thing was? He had a child. His wife suddenly passed away when they were quite young. Wow. And they had a baby, but for 6 years, he blocked the memory of the baby out.
Whoa.
I literally was like, that is
crazy.
Insane. And it only happened once, and that therapist had to force that guy.
Yeah.
Corey, he'd come and sit there with that guy for hours and talk about everything else except
that.
And he said, if we don't talk about it, sweetie, you won't be here.
Yeah.
We're gonna look at each other every single day.
Yeah.
Until one day they spoke about it, and he closed his eyes and he says, do I have a son? And the therapist was like, yes. And he's like, what? Because this is the therapist that saw him when his wife died.
Whoa.
And he said to him, if you knew, why didn't you tell me? He's like, we tried.
Yeah.
Right after she died, I told you every day about your son, and you literally, it's like I said nothing.
Yeah.
You just skipped past and started talking about groceries. You literally did not want to hear it. Now you are ready to hear it because you have finally broken those down. So that's what I thought about running. That thing, it struck me. Sure. But also, like me going through what I've been through mentally and stuff, I know how powerful the brain is and how it can really. Once my therapist always says, the brain is trying to protect itself. It's not about you. If it's gonna protect itself, it's gonna block whatever it needs to block out to survive and make it through. You know, and even in the sense of like the way I've done my Christian journey as well. There's a lot of stuff that the Lord protects you from. It's like, you're not ready. If I can tell you that now, you'll be cooked. You're not going to make it through. Yeah. So we need to get there eventually. But that's just a point that I had for you. What I was thinking about with this navigation and what I think that's what I was been reflecting on for this birthday is that, like, especially last year's milestone birthday for me, it felt very exciting. I was very like, oh, we're wrestling, we're dazzling. This year kind of felt like, yeah, but let's revert. This year, it felt like I've been mourning.
Sure.
And it's like been very painful. Oh, Jess, it's been really, really painful. Like it's kind of like wrapped up in vulnerability, but like, because that's what it is. It's a lot of like, what ifs. I could have done this. I should have been here. I should have done this. So
is that what you feel like you're navigating as you are processing and like coming into your birthday?
Yes. It feels like I've been through a mourning this past year, and it's been very painful, but it's necessary.
Do you feel comfortable sharing a little bit about what you think you're mourning?
I think it's not even necessarily the things. I mean, yes, kind of the things that I expected my life to be at right now, but I think it's like that guide, like the traumas that I've been through. It feels like it's trapped me from living a certain level of myself. Okay. For example, there's no one on this earth that's more hard on myself than me. You can try, baby, but I'm gonna knock myself down every single time.
I can relate.
So there was 2 weeks ago where I literally was like, there was a podcast I watched where this, I think it was actually Kylie Jenner. She was talking about how she keeps a picture of herself as a baby on her mirror, like a mirror she looks at every day, because it reminds her whenever she talks badly about herself, she looks at that child and she says, are you talking to that child that way? Would you want them to be spoken to like that? Because that's the same person. It's just an older version of you. So I have a picture of myself, and it's really cute. But in my bathroom. And it really actually helped me in the beginning. But now any mirror I look at, whenever I have a thought of myself, there's a time when I got back from work, because work's been a lot, and I literally was like, how can you talk to yourself like this, dog? You're just doing your best. But like, I'm knocking myself down. And it's a mourning of like, I don't deserve this, you know. I am doing my best, and I've obviously gone through all these traumas and things and abuses and whatever, but like, I actually don't deserve this for myself. So it feels like I'm mourning a joy that I don't know that I should be being able to be connected to. I don't know, I'm still trying to figure it out, but like, it just feels like I'm mourning. That's why I told you I need to come see my therapist.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening, but it feels like a mourning. Like, I feel a heartache. It feels like, to the point where it feels like physical. Like, it feels like I'm like physically in pain. So for me, navigation feels like a mourning period. And if you as you know, some people, like, someone can pass away and you can tell them and they can say, no, they're still alive. Just like the same way this guy blocked this thing out. On another extreme, someone can be saying, no. Like, imagine if he says, no, my wife is alive, and everyone's like, she died years ago. Don't do this. It's the same thing. We can mourn, but not mourn the way we're supposed to. Like, you know, like, it's you need to be able to come to terms with the fact that this thing is gone, but also move on. So I just feel like I said a whole lot of stuff.
Oh, thanks for sharing.
Thanks, Charles.
I think maybe just I know we're about to wrap up soon, but something that I have been reflecting on. So, you know, we did that fast at the beginning of the year, the one that we spoke about.
Yay.
The mother of all fasts. Anyway, the thing that I've been processing a lot, so the theme of that fast was dominion. And, you know, Genesis 1, I think it's 26 to 28, where it speaks about how God made man in his image and likeness. And then he said to them, like, you know, have dominion, like, you know, subdue the earth, multiply, be fruitful, all that stuff. But the thing that has stuck with me from that fast is that dominion begins with image and likeness, you know.
Identity.
Identity, 100%. Because I've been like, really, I felt like there's a lot of stuff that God has been unearthing in this season, and I was kind of like, God, where has this come from?
Literally,
you know, And he took me back to say, for you to be able to walk in who I've made you to be and what I've called you to do on the earth, you first have to have like a restored identity and a wholeness. And so there is no walking in dominion. There's no fruitfulness, multiplication without me being restored to the image and likeness of who God made me to be from the very beginning. You know what I mean? And so sometimes it can, I think if you don't have that perspective, you can actually even be a little bit discouraged when God is bringing stuff up, because you're like, what is this? I'm having to process this and that. But I think because of that fast, I'm recognizing, okay, if he's wanting me to step into, the things that he has prepared me for, that he's made me for, then he actually wants the restored version of me to step into those things. And that means that like anything that doesn't look like, or anything that doesn't reflect the image and the likeness of who he made me to be, we've got to deal with that, because there's no dominion without that. You know what I mean? And so I think it's also given me such a gratitude as well for the fact that God is so committed to me being whole, because he wants the whole me to be fully present and alive on the earth. And it doesn't matter if I'm hugely successful at 100 things, but I'm walking with a broken identity. Like, it's just like, it doesn't represent who he made me to be on the earth. So I think even with you, I'm like, all the stuff that God's bringing out that, you've either blocked out or that you've just not dealt with. And, it can feel very like overwhelming at times. But for me, that perspective of, it's him restoring me to the image and likeness of who he made me to be, because he wants that person to walk in like the dominion.
And that's actually where I've come to as well, where it started like that, like where like
because you're like, no, I don't want
dog. I just thought. But now I've been thinking about that recently and reflecting and being like, Lord, I'm actually so grateful to get this out now, especially if we're walking to the like goal of like, getting married and kids. Like, I don't want my kids to deal with this. I don't want this to spill out on others or bleed out on someone else. So I'm also sitting in a place of like, I'm really grateful this gunk is coming out. So that I can actually walk, in a different type of authority, in a different type of way. You just need to get But
the only way out is through.
Literally. But I'm really grateful for it as well. So and like also it's not like a rush thing. Like I said, it's been a year, and I'm pretty sure it's not like after this year I'm gonna be like, what? It's probably still gonna keep going. But like it'll get easier the more I just like look at it in the eyes and come to terms with it and say, okay, this is what we're dealing with, this is what we're doing. But as we wrap up, any final thoughts? I'm unraveling.
I can tell when you're unraveling. Let me see if I have any thoughts that I wanted to share before we...
Hey, birthdays, guys, you see?
Right?
Navigation. People who like turn a new age and don't even think about this stuff and move on, I say, are you a different type of person?
They just move on.
Moving on.
No, I think, because I know we often like to end off with either a truth or a question or an action to try. I don't know if you have anything, but just something maybe to wrap up what we've been speaking about is just really intentionality and stewardship. I think that's kind of the core of what this has revolved around, just one, you are the steward of your life, and so you could even reflect on like, what does it look like for you to intentionally steward your life? So if maybe you're listening and you're thinking, man, I'm at a place where, maybe there've been some regrets, some disappointments, things haven't gone how I wanted, the part of maturity is, yes, grieving for what hasn't happened, but then being intentional to steward the life that you do have now in order to move forward. So I think that's the, truth that I'd leave you with, or the, question to reflect on.
I think definitely that is why I also just thought about the mourning. Like I said, sometimes you need to hold like a funeral. Like you literally need to put these things together, whatever they are, and cry, scream, whatever you need to do to like release it out so that you can actually move forward. And I also think for me, I would really encourage you, for the past, has it been 2 weeks? I think maybe 2-3 weeks, we've had a lot of different like I call them Christchella, but basically it's when the saints gather, guys. If you hear me say Christchella, just know the saints have gathered.
There's a gathering.
Oh, there's a gathering of the saints.
Yeah.
We've been gathering with the saints for the past 2 weeks, and I mean like outside of Sunday. We are obviously always gathering with the saints, but like outside of Sunday. And I've realized how much it's filled my cup. And even not just the gathering, like meeting with my friends. Like me and Simon, our friend, just met for a drink.
Oh, for that coffee. And you know the way for weeks I'd been saying, guys, please, can we? I just want to yap with my friends and not really make much sense. And I just, that
thing really.
And when I got home, I was like, that was so nice. We just talked for 2 hours about
every 2 weeks.
Like, I don't know what. Yeah, actually, that is true. We need to do that regularly, consistently.
1,000.
Because we underestimate how much that kind of stuff actually fills us.
It was absolutely fantastic. Yeah. But I've seen how much that's filled my cup. Actually, before that, I didn't even want to do anything for my birthday. I was like, guys, charge it. You'll find me at my house. It's really not that serious. But after these past 2 weeks gathering with the saints and just like being around community, like healthy community, it's actually made me feel like I actually really want to do like celebrate and actually just it really helps fill your cup. So like I would just say for you, some of you who I know you're isolating, you're saying I'm busy. You're not busy. You're running. Go ahead and call that friend up, guys. Do that thing. Like, just gather with the saints and really just, like I'm saying, it doesn't have to be anything hectic. It can really just be yapping, eating a croissant, whatever it is. Trust me, it's going to help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that it?
I think that's all I've got.
Yeah, I was about to say, girl, please don't. I'm on my last leg now. Yo,
I'm like, I keep looking at you. I'm like, are you about to cry?
Be a thug.
Yeah. But that is it.
Yeah.
We hope that this blesses you. And maybe just the last thing that I'd say is reach out for help. Don't try to navigate some of the stuff on your own.
Exactly. Definitely. Whatever avenues, different ways they are.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Where can they find us, teams?
They can find us pretty much everywhere. We are on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, that is where we are. Please subscribe. Don't just watch.
Comment. We like your comments.
Actually, y'all have been doing well with like commenting this season. We've loved it so much.
Yeah, definitely.
YouTube, obviously, Seed Time and Harvest. On Instagram, you can find us at @Seed Time Harvest. At Seed Time Harvest _ and then Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Seed Time and Harvest, and I've said YouTube already.
TikTok.
Forget the Gen Zs. Read the Gen Zs. Tell them where we are on TikTok.
Get Seed Time Harvest
_pod. Yes.
There we are. There's too many underscores, guys. Don't look at us and say, I want you to know. Listen, we're doing our best.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you so much,
But
guys.
pretty much wherever YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram, you'll find us.
Our faces are all over the internet. You know that?
Yeah.
It's hectic.
I think I haven't gotten to that reality.
But anyway, she looked at me, she was like, oh, Papa. It's okay, God is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been lovely talking to you guys. See you next week.
See you soon. Bye.